Hi, everyone. I hope I've had a chance to meet most of you, but for those that I don't, as Sam shared, I'm the Senior Vice President of Client Success here at Collective Health. And I'm very excited, and we're going to launch right into our content because we have a lot to share with you. But I'm excited to share, but I'm joined by my awesome colleagues from our product team, Leo Cheng and Kimmy Mitchell. So I will be turning the bulk of the content over to them, but did want to let you know who all would be talking with you today. So in our conversation today, you can read through this agenda if you want, but mostly we want to give you an update on our overall product vision, some of the things we're thinking about, not only what's in the works, but things that we're focused on maybe bringing forward in the future. We have a lot of great ideas. We do have to do our best to prioritize them and take a very thoughtful approach to rolling them out to you guys so that they're not disruptive, but they're adding value all the time. So, your feedback, your employees, your members' feedback, those are all the things we utilize to help us think through what we should roll out as a product. Now, we do the boring stuff, the regulatory stuff that we're required to do. But the really cool stuff that we like and we know you like to hear about is some of the innovation work. So we're going to share a little bit of both with you today. So I'd like to get started first with just a reminder of Collective Health's company vision. Our goal is to deliver to you and to your employees the opportunity to participate in a very transparent healthcare system that's accessible, cost effective, and easy to use as the internet. Now, that's a high bar to set because the internet has gotten pretty darn touching point and click for us, but that is our goal. And as we continue to build on the health benefits platform architecture that we originally created, we look, we want you to look at us as both your rock and your rocket. Now, those are big words. What does that mean? We want to be your trusted advisor that's reliable and dependable, and maybe even sometimes a little boring because we're doing all the basics of TPA administration well. But we also want to be your exciting, innovative partner that we're researching and intentionally introducing new technology and capabilities all the time. Things like learning to use generative AI to improve your members' experience, both when they call our member advocates and when they're trying to find information on our My Collective portal. We think of the architecture of our platform into three simplified buckets: a foundational structure, infrastructure, capabilities, and then service and apps. And when you're thinking about financial foundational infrastructure, think about things like network integrations, how people look to find doctors, data, claim feeds. Under capabilities, think about things like how we build your plan designs into our system, how we pay claims, how we handle stop loss reporting. Those are capabilities. And then last but not least, in the service apps category, it's things like My Collective, Collective Compass, care navigation. Those are all solutions and service and apps that sit on top of there. These are all built onto one another to serve three main pillars of service, which ultimately help shape your experience as a client and your members' experience. Those three pillars are TPA administration, which is foundational, advocacy, which is one of our value creators that we do, and we support your members in their advocacy approach. And then last but not least, how they navigate the whole healthcare system and how we make that easier for them. I think it's important that a lot of the product work that we're going to share with you today, a lot of it is kind of the boring behind the scenes stuff. But the exciting part of innovation is we want to share both with you today. We want you to know what we're doing to make the boring better, the TPA administration better, but also what we're doing to better serve you and your employees in the future. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Leo and he'll start to take us through our next sections. Leo?
Great. Thanks so much, Kim. Nice to meet everyone. I'm a senior director of product at Collective Health. I've been with the company for 9 years. I see some familiar names in the attendee list. So those of you I met before, nice to see you again. And those I haven't, I look forward to meeting you in a future event in person to tell you more about what we're working on. So picking up from where Kim left off, how we frame our product roadmap, thinking about the tip of the triangle in the prior slide, is advocacy, navigation, and TPA administration. When it comes to advocacy, our ethos is we want to meet the members where they are, as they are, and help them get what they need when they need it. On navigation is once we've advocated well for them, we also want to help the members get to where they need to go through thoughtful and impactful programming through both technological as well as human touch points. And finally, the TPA administration part, I love the rock and rocket analogy, so I will steal that, is on the TPA, we really see that as something we want to just be brilliantly boring. I think I heard a radio ad for a bank recently of like brilliantly boring since 18 something. I love that for our TPA side is when it comes to things like eligibility and implementation, things like that, it should just work. It shouldn't be that eventful. So getting into a little of the details, not going to go bullet by bullet. In Q1, we launched a set of exciting things for our members on the advocacy side. We launched a full Spanish experience for our growing member population who speak Spanish as a first language or only sometimes. And that is not limited to just our digital apps, but it's throughout our digital, printed, and even MA Spanish-speaking member advocates and care navigators with the full end-to-end Spanish experience. We also have expanded our ability for subscribers and parents to access the PHI and information for their minor dependents in a more compliant and flexible way. And we made improvements to security fronts of our systems, including multi-factor authentication and improving our cost estimators. And over on navigation, we have launched a carve out with our partners at Anthem. We have also launched an exciting team we call CAMP, Clinical Account Management Partners. So those of you that are already clients, you may have already met our team. These are our client-facing clinical team of folks who are by nursing by background, who can really get into the details with you on the clinical trends of your spend. And on the ecosystem front, we have launched a great partnership with Noom on GLP-1. We know that's very much top of mind for many customers. And we continue to expand our care suggestion, smart suggestion campaigns, as well as a dedicated benefits hub for ancillary benefits beyond healthcare for things like 401ks and benefits like that, because we keep hearing from our clients that the members love our portal so much, they wish they could access more of their benefits through our portal. So we made that available. And finally, over on the TPA administration side, on Compass, our employer-facing portal, we also improve our security fronts. We expanded the ability to search for people by office location, by additional factors that Kimmy will talk about in the future. And we've expanded our reporting capabilities throughout. And finally, on that boring part, but really important, on implementation eligibility, we continue to improve our full capability so that it is more robust, as well as supporting things like transition of care. Before I move on to the next page, I want to call out one new thing we're trying with this webinar is to talk about not only what we have done and what we are definitely doing, but also things we are thinking about and exploring. So you can see on the lower part of the page, and you'll see this throughout the rest of today, we are conducting research with a very amazing user research and insights team on how we better improve our member advocate service. How do we use AI to help improve our tools for the member advocates? And finally, on the administration side, we've had many implementations under our belt. Probably to the shock of no one, they're not always perfect, and we want to always take our lessons from them and always improve, never make the same mistake twice. So we're also conducting deep dive research into past implementations so that to ensure a very seamless, smooth launches in the future. So moving on to the next page for Q2. Continue the theme of advocacy, navigation, and TPA as our core pillars. On My Collective on the left, we are improving things in our registration flow. And now, you might think twins, that's a very unique siloed thing. Why are we focusing on that, right? Even though in full transparency, I am a father to identical twins, so I have a special love for that, but that is not the reason why we're working on it. Our decision to improve the way people with the same birthday, same last names can register and access the portal is based on actually deep data-driven research and feedback from our clients and our members. And that's one of many examples. These bullets are just the tip of the iceberg on what we're doing to improve the overall experience for our members so they can access the care they need when they need it. And on the member advocate side, we are more and more deploying AI throughout our member advocate tooling so that they can support our members better and the members can support themselves better. Also on the back end, we are improving the content, the wealth of information, healthcare and benefits related, that both member advocates and members can access easily and accurately and quickly on time. And we'll get to more deep dive on AI later, but on the exploration front, probably not a surprise, we are very much focused on pushing AI into throughout our member experience to capture the capabilities that I'm sure all of us are experiencing right now. On the navigation front, we are deploying the capability to send care suggestions not just by in-app inbox, but also by push notifications in the app itself, as well as additional modalities in the coming quarters. And we are continuously improving our ability to identify and outreach more members and more relevant members so the members get the care that they need when they need it. And finally, on the Compass side, on TPA administration, we're expanding the ability for employers to see the details of their members at an individual claims level, not just at an aggregate level. And there's more abilities to self-serve and more knobs and dials in the dashboards that employers have available to they can run the analysis they need to rather than what was before a more limited set of reports that they can access. And implementation eligibility, like I described before, continues to take those lessons we learned from past implementations to have streamlined workbooks. So it's end to end from the moment employers sign the deal with Collective Health, they are off to the races with a very streamlined flow from sales to client success to implementation, including uncoupling things that were previously attached together to make things more modular and flexible. Moving on, we're going to get into AI and how we think about AI at Collective Health. Probably not to the surprise of anyone. We think of AI as a way to empower and elevate our member experience. And I'm excited to tell you guys about how we're thinking about it. But before we do, over on the next page, we want to learn from you, right? Just like the twin example earlier, we make decisions not just in a vacuum. We want to drive it, pull it from our customers, which is you. So we would love for you to answer a poll we'll be putting up quickly on how you feel about AI when it comes to healthcare related tasks. This is that data-driven nature we do in everything we do. So I will let our MCs close it at the right time. And we'll be taking this data not just for this webinar, but we will be taking this back to our insights and research team to inform our development too.
We're at about 56% participation. So I'll give it a little bit more time. Close it out as close to 70 as we can get.
Overall seems trending more on the positive side. So far, no very negative. That's encouraging to see. For the folks who are somewhat negative or neutral, if you feel comfortable, love to see your concerns in the chat or follow up with your contact Collective Health. We definitely want to. We're very excited about it, but we definitely want to hear the concerns because we're not just doing it because it's cool and fun and in news. We want to do what's useful and valuable to our customers.
All right. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. We got 76%. I'll go ahead.
By the way, that was not the only homework you'll get. We're going to put you to work as well, so there'll be polls throughout today, and thank you for that.
All right. I'll go ahead and stop sharing, and we can move right along.
Let's move on. So at Collective Health, what is the role of AI in our member experience? We think of it as a now, near, and future framework. Now, as in 2025, we're halfway through, our focus is to use AI to improve the member advocate service. That is the bread and butter for a lot of members. The voice of the member advocate and what they can access is their core Collective Health experience. And AI is very much really a perfect tool to help us improve and elevate that experience, not necessarily replace. We want to improve the QA quality assurance tool. So historically, we're very proud of our high NPS and our customer satisfaction, but not 100% of all of our members are always happy, right? We always follow up every interaction, every member call with a survey on what went well, what didn't go well. And for the ones that didn't go well, we historically have relied on a manual spot checking to follow up on what went wrong and follow up with the customer to see what went wrong, what we could do better. But we are limited by the number of humans we have to follow up on those. We've now deployed a tool that can transcribe and listen to 100% of all calls, get not only what the member will tell us in a survey, but every tone, every word they use, every maybe not so nice word they use in those calls to decipher patterns on what we could do better in future calls. So we vastly expand our ability to learn from every single interaction with the help of AI. And when it comes to real calls with Member Advocate on the phone with members, AI is also now serving in the background, taking notes for the member advocate, summarizing it, so that the member advocate doesn't have to spend their time typing, right? How many of you have had the experience with customer service where the member advocate or the customer service agent is saying, "Oh, hold on a second," and you hear this keyboard typing noise, right? All of us have that experience, and now our member advocates no longer have to, so they can be fully present in their human selves for the members who are only calling us not for fun, but because they have some healthcare need they need addressing. So that's something we're well on our way to deploying. I mean, the QA is already live as we speak. In the near term, this year and into next year, we are also using AI to improve our digital experience, starting with Monsoon, which stands for Member Submitted Out-of-Network Claims. So these are receipts you get from providers that want to get paid out of pocket, and you can submit that to Collective Health for reimbursement based on your plan. Historically, members would have to upload that picture of the receipt and then fill out basically a set of forms on where'd you get the service, what was the amount, things like that. And with the help of AI and OCR, we can now it almost feels this magical experience. You take a picture and everything's pre-populated already for the member to review. This is not only a smooth experience, but it also reduces processing delays because sometimes the member doesn't know what to put in or forgets the field. And then they have to take a few days or a week for the team to get back to them and say, "Hey, we can't pay you until you fill out this information," right? That's delays on payments. This AI allows us to really cut down on that time so they can get their money back faster. And then improving digital experience, we are introducing AI chatbot for our members, and in the future, definitely improving additional MA service to reduce the redundant tasks so that the member advocates can truly advocate and not just customer service. So moving on to the next page. Some of you may have already seen this, but we are very excited and proud to be working with Google AI, specifically the Gemini model, as the backbone of many of our AI capabilities. This is not the only AI tool we're using. The QA was not Google, but Google, as a big name in the space and something we verified and given our Silicon Valley heritage, we're very proud to work with. And we have access to Google's latest generation models. If they have a better model tomorrow, we will have access to it tomorrow. And we have a dedicated team of top tier folks from Google working hand in hand with our team to deploy the kind of capabilities that I just described earlier. Right, checking on the chat. Got it. Next homework. We talked about AI chatbots as something we're working on. We are also not blind to the fact that it's not just a for sure thing, and there might be concerns. So if you had to choose one, what would be your concern about a world where members can get into a portal like My Collective and interact with an AI chatbot to answer their benefits and healthcare related questions? So it could be accuracy, privacy, the complexity of the kind of question the member needs to ask, the loss of a genuine human connection, no concerns. And if you have other concerns not captured, please type that into the Zoom chat as well. And Sam, let's make sure we do capture the data. I know Zoom saves it, but I just want to make sure we don't lose this. This is really critical information from our customers.
You got it, my friend.
Thank you.
I'll take a little screenshot just in case. All right, we're at 67%. Let's get a little bit over 70, and then I'll close it out. Real close. Just a few more seconds. All right, looks like we're at a lull. I'm going to go ahead and close it out in a minute, and then I'll share with everybody. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right,
Great. Let's move on to the next section. And today we're excited to have a deep dive on Collective Compass, which is the portal facing all of you guys in the chat, right? I was talking about what members access to, but as employers and brokers, I'm excited to have Kimmy talk about all the exciting developments we have on that front. Kimmy, you want to take it over?
Thanks, Leo. Hi, everybody. My name's Kimmy. I am a group product manager at Collective Health. I am coming up on a decade at Collective Health, have worn many of hats and seen many parts of Collective Health. But today I am representing our employer experience product domain. And I'm particularly excited to chat with you all to Leo's point of you are our users, you are the customer base that this portal is attempting to serve. Now, the main product with the capital P of the employer experience is Compass, and I do want to dive into what Compass is, but to continue pulling on a thread that I think Leo and even Kim have been threading throughout so far on research, I do think it is worth continually stating how much we have how much we have invested in research and insights and how much we are getting out of the feedback that we're getting from all of you. And we have developed a robust research and insights program that's really focused on just the employer experience. I'm sure there are a number of attendees to this webinar that have interacted directly with our insights team, whether as a fly on the wall in these integral critical touch points with your account management team, or a dedicated co-design session about product features and user needs. You will see throughout how I talk about Compass and some of the features that I want to deep dive into, a lot of your voice is being used to frame Compass as well as how we prioritize and what we build. So this is a moment for me to thank all of you for participating in a lot of those research elements, including some of these polls here, and a proactive thank you for your continuous contribution to that. It is truly what is driving us forward. So today on this screen, on this slide, Compass really fulfills two functions of our customer base. This customer base include the employers as well as our channel customers. So on one end, it's the day-to-day administration. So thinking about what it takes for individuals on your teams or perhaps full teams at your companies to be able to run a self-funded benefits program, working with your employees and ensuring that they can access their care and their benefits appropriately. On the other hand, Compass opens up a potential to be this data repository to make the most sense out of how your plan is performing. Where are your employees under or overutilizing particular care patterns? And the goal really is not only to give you access to this data, but be able to engage with it and ideally take action from it. So with these two pillars of what Compass is, you'll see this as a framing for how we think about our features. On the next slide, I want to dive into a feature that was mentioned on the Q2 focus priority, which is providing access to individual member claims. Now, the reason why this particular feature I'm so interested in is because it really did test our product strategy. Leo talked about this before of how foundational and important our advocacy model is. We're so proud of how our member advocates and our My Collective portal are able to make accessible benefits information to employees, our members. We don't want to hide or divert some of their needs from these portals and services that we create. However, our research is showing that we also have employers who also want to provide this high touch, white glove service to their employees. So in an effort for us not to compete with you on servicing your people, but actually support you, we've built out this feature. Now, the use case here is really to enable this direct kind of real-time support of your benefits team. So think about an employee coming to you with a denied bill or a high-cost bill and wanting to make sense of should they pay this or not. This is that use case. Now, the other thing that's interesting about this feature is that our research really showed quite polarizing preferences on something like this. On one hand, like I said, white glove, you want access to this data. It's your data, it's your people's data. Let us help you help them. But on the other side, we are introducing new data points that you perhaps do not want access to. So, something I'm very proud about how we built this out is a close partnership with our compliance and privacy teams, even outside counsel. And like I mentioned earlier, those co-design sessions with customers like you to really divine this to build this and design this to be configurable. This allows us to scale with new business to come on, but accommodate these various preferences that come from accessing this additional information. Now, this feature is launching in a couple of weeks in early July, and we intend to continue to iterate upon this and introduce more and more claims information for you to take advantage of the service model that you want to have with your employees. On the next slide, I want to talk about that second pillar about data repository and understanding your plan performance. A big investment from us and focus for 2025 has been in the underlying infrastructure of the data and the analytics power within Compass. So we are moving towards an embedded analytics model. If you are familiar with Power BI or Looker or other BI tools like that, you will be familiar with what we are launching later this summer. So the intent here is to take advantage of the out-of-the-box capabilities of these tools to drill down, filter, and segment your data the way that you want to. We will be focusing this year on lifting and shifting a lot of existing reports to take advantage of this functionality. Today, we have a subset of dynamic reports in Compass, and then a slew of standard and static reports that are delivered in other channels. The real goal here is to create Compass as this centralized home for that dynamic analytics capabilities. The more exciting part for me on moving to this embedded approach is that we expect a higher velocity from us to develop and publish reports from you. So as your interests arise, as our analytics team identifies opportunities, our ability to create a dashboard that will be continuously available for you within the Compass portal, and then again to apply all of this additional analytics capability on top, something we're very excited about. So this is our focus for this year. I do want to kind of touch upon, where we're looking moving forward, which is to enable the ability for you to dive into your data your way. And again, all within the Compass platform. I'll move over to the next slide and our next poll, which is that all of these features and investment is to move towards a self-service analytics model. Now, in our research, we are again seeing quite varying and polar desires for what self-service analytics is. So I'd like to run this poll to actually get some feedback from all of you on what does self-service analytics mean to you? What do you want to see out of Collective Health? And we will also take this as another micro research opportunity to breed into how we build this out. I'll let this run for a little bit. Interesting.
So what you anticipated, Kimmy?
No. Well, I will say I actually had a hunch that the give me a starting point would be kind of the running definition and understanding of self-service analytics, but I expected more from give me a blank canvas. But it's great. That is the purpose of research, to learn all the facets of our customer personas.
We live for surprise moments like this.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'm going to close it out in
Great.
5 seconds. Just give people a few more seconds. There we go. Hit that.
Thank you, guys.
I'll go
Very
ahead.
helpful.
Sure.
Very helpful. Thank you so much. Like I said, I really think that meeting meeting our customers where we're at is not just a talking point for our member experience, thinking about exactly what you need. How are you going to spend your time? What are the teams and people surrounding you that can support you in understanding your plan performance? Helps us in building out the future of self-service analytics. So thank you. Okay, let's move to the next couple of slides. So I'm hinting at this a little bit with this analytics pillar of a centralized experience, one place to go for data and insights about your plan performance. But even outside of analytics, I think there's a big opportunity for us to really think about Compass as this one-stop shop that is the one entry point for all things collective health. Because when you really think about what collective health does, it allows you to aggregate so much of the functionality of running a self-funded TPA. But let's make that into a digital platform. Let's think about one place for your integrations, your payments, the implementation tasks that many, many hands have to touch in order to make it a reality. So as we think about the future of Compass as being much more than just an administrative tool and an analytics tool, how can it be the open door, the welcome mat to what collective health is? So we move to our last poll, our last engagement. Just to drop in the chat, I want to hint at a product vision idea for Compass, which is let's step out of Compass, let's step out of benefit administration. We can even step out of healthcare for a second. Think about the various companies, apps, websites that you engage with. And was there possibly a setup or workflow experience that you found delightful, maybe joyful? I, for one, have recently set up a family budgeting tool, which is quite possibly the most mundane and cumbersome thing you can possibly do. But I actually really enjoyed it. The way that you have to connect all of these accounts, invite all of your people, and ensure that you have the right visibility to then set up a budget is daunting, but at the end was quite simple and intuitive. I want to posit that this is the direction of where Compass is going. We are passionate about not only making Compass functional, but being the gateway to making administration much simpler, straightforward, and hopefully delightful. Okay. With that, I will actually, that's the end of my Compass segment. Would like to pass it back off to Leo to walk us through what's coming next for the second half of this year.
Great. Thanks, Kimmy. So for the second half, we are really excited to continue many of the themes we discussed earlier. On the next page, you'll see we continue to follow our three-pillar advocacy, navigation, and TPA administration. And a lot of the themes you heard already, the AI, the Compass improvements that Kimmy's talking about. So just hit a few of the highlights. On the advocacy side, we describe deploying that member submitted out of network, that magical uploading experience. We are also entering a number of new regions and territories that have needs for members to be able to select what we call a primary care medical home to designate a provider, and we want the My Collective portal to support that, as well as additional PHI authorization requirements as we enter into these new markets. I described earlier the AI-driven chat, IVR, and chatbot capabilities, and we're also using that to automate some of the generation of some of the documents we offer today already, proof of termination, claim history report, things like that. On navigation, we are really excited to be doing a really, I'll call it from the ground up revamp of the technical capabilities we have on the back end to identify and outreach to the right members that have complex needs so that we can get to them in the right time. Not only our ability to outreach is being improved, we're also adding the ability to ingest ADT data, admissions, discharge, and transfer, so that we can access those signals much, much faster than some of the claims we've historically gotten. Once they're engaged with our care navigation program, the tooling that our clinical team uses is also undergoing a revamp that will allow them, similar to member advocates, to spend a lot less time dealing with the tool itself and a lot more time providing the compassionate and expert clinical care, clinical-based care. We don't provide clinical care for our members that they look to our care navigation team for. And finally, on the TPA administration side, Kimmy talked about some of the improvements we're doing on the analytics and reporting side. We continue to expand our ability, the employer's ability to search and I get to the right member faster. As our membership grows, as we access more and more employers with a lot of employee bases, we find more and more employers have lots of employees with the same name. And it's not always easy to know which one you're talking about. So we're expanding the ability to filter and get to the right member quickly. Um, on the claim side, we are adding the ability to support capitation and provider pricing contract management, as well as prepay payment integrity. These are some things we hear a lot from our clients as necessary to administer their plans. On the implementation side, we are launching the ability to have side-by-side comparisons when it comes to plan authoring as you design the plans. And finally, on plan design, that PCMH, the primary care medical home, as we build out the ability to support that, we also want to embed it into the benefit design itself because it's not only a way to meet certain rules, but also it's a great way to provide that navigation and that point of direction for our members as they start with primary care as their first care. And finally, those of you in the past webinars hear us talk a lot about our tier plan design, our guide plans. That is something we continue to expand on and improve because we're getting a lot of traction and excitement in the market for that. So these are, again, just a subset of the things we're thinking about working on. By the time we meet again, this time next year or later this year webinar, maybe not every bullet will be exactly the way we describe it here because we're always hearing back from our customers. Some of it is subject to change, but this gives you a taste of the kind of themes and the kind of projects we're pursuing here at Collective Health. So with that, I think we're getting to the Q&A section.
Yeah. So I know we're almost at our originally scheduled time. So I think Sam has put into the chat or the chat box that if you have questions and we don't get to them during Q&A, please put them in the Q&A section so that we can follow up with everybody on the Q&A for those, and we'll get those out to everybody. But would like to go ahead and open it up for questions. I think if you raise your hand, I think we can call on you and you can ask your questions.
It looks like, Kim, there's a question. Why are you most excited, or what are you most excited about that is coming in Collective Health's near or long future?
Great. Leo, can you take that one?
Personally, I mean, I hope I wasn't hiding because I'm really excited about our AI future. Not just in the member facing side, the things you can feel and touch, but AI as a tool that just pervades throughout our underlying and the under the hood stuff to improve the scalability, the automation, the quality, and just so that members and our customers look to us for that human component. I want our member advocates to advocate, not customer serve, right? So the more AI can take care of easier questions, the more the tools can help members take care of the simpler, quote unquote, boring things like I lost my card, I need a new one. The more our amazing member advocates and care navigators can be that human support that they need. So that's what I'm really excited about.
Yep. Kimmy, anything you would add to that?
I'm really excited about our utilization management partnership. My history started out in our member services org, and one of the most painful touch points is around prior authorizations, the process, the denials, the appeals. It's really painful. I think Collective Health stepping into this space is amazing. I think our dedication to advocacy and navigation will shine through in how we take on utilization management. So I'm really excited to see how that looks and how we can perhaps transform the experience there.
Great. Kimmy, we have a question in the chat portion that says, how are we tracking on being able to search members by last name, date of birth, and even dependents in my collective?
Yes. Is it possible this question is about Compass?
I think so.
Okay, so if this
Yeah.
question's about Compass, yes, okay, great. We are actively working on that right now, actually. So we're gonna in classic product fashion, we're going to slice this up and iterate over time. Our focus to start is really on how we can search for employees by more than just name. We're considering date of birth and social security. And then following that, we are looking at being able to search by dependent, so all members. The former on date of birth and social is something slated for Q3. We're already actively working on that from a back end perspective. And then the dependents will probably come later, if not in 2026.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? If not, I've got one that was written in. So, Leo, you spoke a lot about AI impacting the member experience and the plans to use AI in Compass or on the client side as well. Um, Anything that you would, elaborate on that, Leo, and then Kimmy?
Yeah, I think I talked about the AI impact on the member side. I think the question specifically on Compass side. We do have some ideas over there, so I'll let Kimmy take that.
Okay, great, thank you.
I think similar, it's quite similar in some ways to the member side, thinking about chatbots and also just navigation within the portal. As you can imagine about all the many things that any Compass user or Ben admin has to do, it's a lot of content, a lot of things to try to keep straight, and how we can leverage AI to bring that information to the user instead of trying to get the user to the information, I think is a prime opportunity for AI. We're actively investigating chatbots and the way that we can also take action or generate analytics. So there might be some co-design product sessions coming soon where we want to get some of these ideas in front of our customers, and play around with what that could look like on Compass as well. So
Yep.
it's happening.
Absolutely. And just to plug for what Kimmy just said, for any of you on this webinar who are our current clients, if any of you are interested in helping us co-design some of this or testing it, being a little bit of a pilot, even if it's in a test environment, please let your strategic account executive know, or you're welcome certainly to send any of us that you know an email, because again, it's always all about solving your problems. We could come up with a bunch of cool stuff, and if it doesn't resonate with all of you, it doesn't matter. So we always need user testing, and you are our users. So please let us know if you're interested in participating on any of it with us. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A.
Kathy, I see Kathy raised a hand.
Oh, sorry, Kathy. Sorry.
Kathy, okay. Kathy, if you have a question, I don't think I can unmute you. Do you mind dropping it in the chat if possible? I'll give you a second to type it in there if you need to.
Oh, she wants to part. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it.
I use a Hamilton reference, and like I welcome everyone in the room where it happens. We're not doing this alone, so.
Great.
Love. Okay. I think we're at time, Kim. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all to our folks who joined the webinar today. We really appreciate your participation. As always, you know what to do, but I'll repeat it just in case you don't. Check your email, pardon me, if after the session, for more information, we'll send you the recording in case you missed it. And then reach out to your client success team if you have questions or have feedback. Once the webinar is over, you're going to see a really quick pop-up. It's that really fast survey I talked about. Go ahead and fill it out. You can also send direct feedback in that survey if you want to drop a question or a comment as well. With that, thank you all so much for joining. We had a great session and we hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.